still centered. You've got little wads of clay. I like to break the wads like that against my finger. That way I'm ending with this sharp bit. Hold the bottom of the pot. Otherwise you're gonna screw up your centering that you just spent 5 hours doing, right? Put one on, put the opposite side on, right? What you're doing is you're pressing down and in, mostly down and in a little bit. So it's sort of, if you push too hard in, you're going to dent the pot, right? And you want to leave enough thickness. I've seen people like push that really far down and it's like it's now becomes weak. Always test, right? Try to wiggle it now. It's better that you find out if it's loose now than when it's going, yeah? Okay, so first thing, we're going to assume that it's flat. I'm going to do another one if it's not flat, okay? First thing is the diameter. How narrow is it? Now I have to remember how narrow the inside was. I'm going to go on the outside with either my round or my flat. The round or the flat, right? The flat is really great on a corner, right? So if I'm really taking that corner down, the flat is really great for that. The round is really great for in all of the, for a flat area. The round is great for going through a flat area. Does that make sense? Okay, I did what I didn't want to do. Talking too much. So you see that I took it down narrow and I dented this in. Yeah? So I've got the beginning of a foot. That's only one option for how to make a foot. You could make it go straight to the table without having this dent here. Of course, now that I've done this, I'm committed to it. You notice there's a little bit of a lump in there. I can use my corner of my tool to cut through that lump. Right? And then I use the round or the flat to smooth that off again. Then I'm going to shape the outside of the foot. And again, there's lots of options for how to shape that. I particularly like a foot that I can grab onto because I like being able to, when I'm glazing, hold it by the foot, and then when I'm using it in the kitchen, I'm washing it, I like to hold the foot. Okay, so I've got the outside of the foot. Now I'm doing the inside. And I feel like I probably went a little bit too deep. We're going to see. Check out how I'm holding the tool. I've got it very firmly in my dominant hand. I've got a finger from my non-dominant hand on it, and a finger there, right? This finger is actually kind of pressing against the other. It's a way of getting triangulation for stabilization, right? If I'm just doing this, right, it's not as stable because it's coming from one side. If I've got this finger on it, it's much more stable. Oh! You can't hear that, can you?
I heard it a little bit.
What'd you hear?
It sounds very, very hollow.
I don't think the video is going to be able to hear it, but yes, it is like paper thin. Yeah? If I try, I can dent it. I made this too deep, right? So I don't have the luxury of going back and cleaning that up, but I like the spiral well enough. The last step is to define the shape of the foot itself. right? So don't leave it just sharp on the corners here and flat. Like, shape it as you would a rim. Think about the shape of the foot, right? That's going to be a much more elegant foot. It's gonna sit on the table nicely. I don't know if you saw that. What I just did is I put my finger on it and wiped down. That smooths it, right? So that it's not gonna have a rough edge. So the silhouette of the pot has changed dramatically. Yeah. Figuring out how narrow to make this initially is about how do you want it to sit? You want it to sit like a sumo wrestler or like a ballet dancer, like somewhere in between. Yeah? So that's that. All right.